a 5-figure freelancer and a 7-figure agency owner. So did I make tons of money with freelancing? No, I did make a couple thousand per month consistently for at least 6 months or so. However, with the agency model, I ran an agency for over 3 years and scaled it to 7 figures. In this video, I want to give you a realistic view of if you should become a freelancer or an agency owner. You see, it's a very personal journey. I don't want to just tell you what worked for me. That's really not how business works, right? You have to look at how to make the thing work for you. So I'm going to outline to you some of the pros of being a freelancer and also some of the cons. Quick caveat, there are more cons than pros from my experience. And you'll see me cover all of those in depth in this video. A freelancer is somebody that signs a client and does all the work for the client. An agency owner is somebody that signs a client and then hands off most of the work to some team members. So now we're going to roll the training. This is an old training from my old paid program. But again, I think there's still quite a few nuggets in here that I want you to know. So enjoy and we'll roll the video. I'm not going to be giving you strategies just yet, but we got to go over some things of what you need to consider whether you want to be a freelancer or an agency owner. Okay, really important stuff. So I'm going to walk you through the Freelancer Trap, what it is and how to avoid it. Okay, so you've probably heard me talk about this if you follow me on YouTube or even on my Instagram. It's something I see that is very common and it's something that I've personally experienced myself. Okay, so to give you some backstory, when I started off, I wanted to run an agency for a very long time. I started off by running Facebook ads and building sales funnels for my clients. Okay, so it was okay. I was getting a few clients. That really wasn't the big problem, right? So for me, I had 2 clients, right? Had 2 clients that I was working with for a few months. The biggest thing that happened, which I'm going to move on to very quickly, is that I spent all of my time delivering the service for them, right? Because it was just me. I had nobody supporting me. All I was doing Facebook ads, building out the sales funnels for them and just helping them every single day. Okay, so that was great for the clients. They got all of my attention, they loved it, and they got good results. Big problem there was that I became burnt out. I had a lack of clarity on how I was going to get to the 6-figure mark, and I was overwhelmed, right? Because one thing that I didn't do was I didn't spend any time on outreach. I would probably go and do some outreach 2 or 3 times a week. I had no consistency with it. I had no clarity on how I was going to do it effectively. And ultimately, it was something I dreaded, even though I knew I had to do it, right? The reason being was that I was so burnt out from doing all of the work, right? So that is something that happens to a lot of freelancers. They have a service to offer, right? They get a couple clients, and then all of a sudden, they're maxed out. They don't have any more time to offer, and they're stuck, right? They can't get any more clients. And if one of those clients falls off, your business is falling off a cliff. So as I mentioned, I spent 80% of my time delivering the service to clients, okay? That's not good. That's really not good. First off, it means I don't have time to improve the service if I'm just doing the service all the time, right? And then secondly, I don't have time to get new clients, right? You're never gonna have all your clients for life, right? It's just a fact. Something is gonna happen. They gotta cut their budget. Maybe they just completely stop what they're doing, close down their business, or they completely pivot, right? So you're gonna lose clients eventually. So you have to have a system where you have new clients coming in. Right? It's like with Amazon. They don't just have 100 or 100,000 customers. They have new customers coming in every single day. Of course, they've got customers who come back to them, but they've got to focus and spend money and effort and time on getting new customers. Likewise with you, as a freelancer or an agency, you have to spend a lot of time getting new clients, right? So I only spend 20% of my time on these revenue generating activities, outreach, building systems, and doing sales calls, right? Ultimately, you got to flip that switch. You've got to do 80% on the revenue generating activities and 20% on the maintenance activities. And that is serving your clients and delivering the service to them. When you start off, you're going to naturally spend a bit more on the service delivery. That's just part of the way it is. That's just part of freelancing or running an agency. But keep this in mind. If you start off as a freelancer and you don't want to ever run an agency and you always want to do it yourself, be aware of this because this is going to happen. And so because of this, I had extremely inconsistent growth. I had months where I might bring in 2K. I had months where I bring in maybe 4K, months where I even hit 5 or 6K, right? But then I'd have months straight after those big months and they would drop, big drop, right? So if you don't want that inconsistency and you want steady growth, which is what we've had in the last 6 months, then you should go down the agency model route, right? So the freelancer route is really just going to set you up for burnout, lack of clarity, overwhelm, inconsistent growth, and really you're going to be trapped. That's the whole thing. So right here is how you can avoid the freelancer trap. Okay, so first off, you can flip that switch, right? So as we mentioned back here, spend 80% of your time on the revenue generating activities and 20% of your time on the maintenance activities. Okay. Now, secondly, what you can do, you can build out a team and a system to deliver your service. right? So you obviously, if you have 5 clients, you can't just not deliver the service, right? You still have to deliver the service, and you got to be obsessed with doing a good service, right? But what you can start doing after you have 1 or 2 clients is focus on building out a team and a system to deliver your service. Now, you can build this all out before you get a client, but I don't recommend that, because you could put a month of work into building this out and then you could have no clients. So focus on getting the clients first and then build these out as you go. But very, very important, if you have a team, that's critical, right? If I had someone who could do Facebook ads and build sales funnels, would have been perfect, right? I could have, say, got a client for 1K, paid them $300-400 per month, and boom, they delivered the service, right? So what I'm getting paid for now is doing the sales and getting the clients in and running the business, okay? Now, secondly, you need a system to deliver that service, right? So it needs to be systematized and productized, okay? So we like to think of our services as being products, right? So they're not buying our service, they're actually buying our product, right? So I know that sounds a bit different than what you may have heard. Essentially, right, when someone signs up with us for one of our smaller package or one of our bigger packages, they know what they're getting, and we know exactly how we're going to provide that, and our team knows how they're going to provide that too. So we have a bunch of graphic designers who do a lot of the content creation work for our clients, and then we have a client manager who kind of conducts that, right? They're like conducting the orchestra, right? They're telling the graphic designers what they got to work on, they're managing them, and they're making that process really, really smooth. And we've set that up because we've got this system, right? We've got a system where everybody knows what they're doing. They know how to follow our systems to deliver the service or the product to the client, and it all works very, very congruently, right? So the team helps the system, and the system helps the team. Now, you should also focus on setting your agency up, right, in a way that you can focus your attention on the outreach, the sales, and the systems, okay? So if you build out the team and the system, that should help you get over that roadblock and over that barrier, because now you can focus your time on the outreach, sales, and systems. Again, these are the revenue generating activities, okay? And always be looking ahead, right? So even if you have the best month ever, right, you've hit 10K, you are loving it, you've hit your goal, you're balling, right? It's easy to get complacent, right? Now, you should celebrate it, okay? Celebrate the big wins, celebrate your new clients, celebrate your big months, celebrate all that stuff. But you also have to be always looking ahead, right? So even when you hit the big month, you've got to be thinking, I've got more clients, right? So that means I need to have more people to do the work, and I need a better system to deliver that work, okay? So when you get a new client, yes, rejoice in the fact that you got a new client, but also think, hey, I've got to get someone else maybe to do the work, or I've got to get one of my contractors on a bigger contract, right? So they're doing more work for me. Okay, so always be looking at those things and look at the things coming next. So for example, this is something that we have to do now because we're growing quite fast. We have to be able to say, hey, what do we need next month? And what do we need 2 months down the line? Right? So we have a full-time client manager right now, and we know we already have someone now who's getting trained in as a part-time client manager, so we're going to need them soon, right? Eventually, full-time client manager is going to be maxed out. We're going to need someone else to slip in and help out there, right? So we're looking, right? We're always looking ahead, and we're saying, who do we need next, and what do we need next to make that happen? You should always view yourself as a business owner and not a tradesperson, right? So a freelancer is essentially a tradesperson, right? You have a skill and a service to offer, and you provide that to a client who pays you, and that's the extent of what you're doing. If you want to run an agency and you want to hit 6 figures and you want to have a proper business, like a real business, you have to look at yourself as a business owner. So when you're starting off, this can be hard to do because you may not have any clients. You may only have 1 client, maybe you have 2 clients, and you may not even have any contractors yet. It's hard to see yourself as being a business owner, but that is what you're going to be. If you stay consistent with this and focus on getting those clients in, you will be, right? So you've got to look at yourself in this light, because when you see yourself as a business owner, you understand that as a business owner, you've got to focus on bringing money in, right? Bringing money in, okay? Getting clients. You got to focus then also on making sure your team is happy and they're doing good work. Your clients are happy, and they love what you're doing and they're referring people to you. You got to look at all those areas, right? All the things that a business owner would look at. Pretend you're Jeff Bezos and think of what he looks at when he looks at Amazon. So ultimately, I do believe that if you are right now thinking that you're just going to do freelance, reconsider it, okay? It's fine to start off as a freelancer, and it's fine to get your first few clients as a freelancer. But if you do not focus on the things I've mentioned, you will fall into the trap that I fell into, and you will probably crash and burn, right? So I kind of had to just hit that business on the head, or that freelance business on the head, because I just couldn't really see a way of keeping it going. I didn't have a predictable way to get clients. I didn't have time to spend on it because I had clients and I had to deliver the service. So ultimately, definitely think about this. And if you are freelancing right now, definitely look to move into the agency model. So there you have it, folks. As I mentioned, my goal was to give you the pros and cons so that you can make a decision. I can't just tell you being an agency owner is the route for you because, hey, it depends on your goals, your lifestyle, and your stress tolerance. As I mentioned, this is an extract from my old paid program. The new version has tons of new trainings, way better than this stuff, way more up to date, and there's a lot more support and help in that program. If you'd like more information about how you could work with me, you will see a link below this video where you can get some more info. Click that link and I will see you in the next video.